Hello everyone, my name is Quad and welcome to a video that will tell you all you need to know about Amp Arcanes. This video is a part of two major series of videos on this channel, one about the Arcanes and the other about Amps. In this video we will go over every single Arcane you can get on your Amp, which is 13 in total. Amp Arcanes basically act as mods for Amps. You can equip your Arcanes on the equipment menu of the operator. You will get one Arcane slot for free right away, but the other one has to be unlocked with the Amp Arcane adapter. The Amp Arcane adapter is quite a late game thing at this point. You can buy it from Cavalero at rank 5 with the holdfasts for 20,000 standing. So yeah, it is pretty expensive. The adapter is a one-use item that will only apply to one amp, so be sure to get it for the one amp you really want to get the adapter on, so you have more arcane testing room. There are two types of arcanes. The first type are Virtuos arcanes, which are sold by the Quills on Cetus and Little Duck at Fortuna. To max any Virtuos arcane, you will need 10 of each. On the other hand, there are also the Eternal Amp Arcanes, which can be bought from our not-so-friendly Zariman weapon dealer, Cavalero, or you can also farm them up by killing Thrax Centurions and Void Angels. The Eternal Arcanes will require you to have 21 of them in order to max them up. Quite a grind, but they are worthy of that grind, at least in my opinion. Let's now go over the Virtuos Arcanes that are sold by Quills at Cetus. Virtuos Null will make your amp energy regen 20% faster each time you kill an enemy. The effect does last 4 seconds, which is not a long time, but it is a lot better. It is still not the best arcane, but it is good arcane to start off with. Virtuos Tempo has 60% chance to trigger each time you kill an enemy with an amp. It will increase your amp's fire rate by 60% for 8 seconds, which is great for high fire rate amps. Mowing enemies down slightly quicker can be quite a great thing sometimes. Virtuos Fury has a 20% chance to trigger each time you apply a status effect with your amp. It increases the damage your amp deals by 30% for 4 seconds, which is great to use on starting amps with high status chance. But when looking at other arcanes, it is really not that special. I would avoid it since there are other arcanes that are far better. Virtuos Strike has a 20% chance to trigger each time you score a critical hit on your enemy with the amp. When the effect triggers, the amp's critical damage will be increased by 60% for 4 seconds. This can be devastating on some amp configurations, increasing your damage altogether high in the sky. Virtuos Shadow Amp Arcane's effect has 40% chance to trigger each time you score a headshot on your enemy. It will multiply your amp's critical chance by 1.6 for 12 seconds, which can be quite nice since you will score more critical shots. I myself love to use this arcane because it is easy to use on some amps that just splash damage everywhere. Virtuos Ghost is an arcane that has a 40% chance to trigger each time you score a headshot on your enemy. With the amp obviously, it will increase your amp's status chance by 60%, which might be good for some amps. But yeah, that is all about the Virtuos Amp Arcanes you can get at Quills. Now let's go over to Fortuna and the Little Duck, our arcane dealer at the location. The arcanes you get at the Little Duck focus more on the amp's capability against the normal enemies you can get in any missions, since they will convert your amp's damage type from Void to other status types. Let's look at them. The first one on the list is Virtuos Trojan, which will convert most of your amp's damage into viral damage. I think this arcane is great to use against the higher level Grenier on the Steel Path to at least apply the viral status effect, so you can pick the enemies off with other weapons. You may also use this for condition overload, but again, a lot of details here. Virtuos Forge will convert 98% of the void damage you have on your amp into heat damage. That is pretty much it. It is great to use against the Grenier, for example, or for crowd control. It also is damage over time, so it's probably one of the best of the Little Duck arcanes for amps. Virtuos Surge will convert most of your amp's void damage into electricity damage. In my opinion, this is a great arcane to use against the Corpus, if you have any problems depleting their shields. Or you can also use it for crowd control, for example, it does wonders. Virtuos Spike will convert most of your amp's void damage into puncture damage, which will make your enemies deal less damage if the status effect is applied to them. I don't really see the use of it, but you can use it against some heavier enemies like bombards for example. Just apply status with the amps and then go back to Warframe and kill them. A lot less damage taken. These arcanes do not work well if you use two of them on your amp at the same time. One of the arcanes will take 98% of all void damage and will convert it into the status type the arcane is. The rest of the void damage, the 2% left, will then get converted into the status type of the second arcane also by 98%. So 98% of the 2% left. It is just not worth it. The only thing that does seem fine is combining the Virtuos Scourge and Virtuos Forge. The status effects of these arcanes combine into Radiation effect, which might be good against the Terrorist for example. Yeah, these arcanes are quite weird, so if you can, I suggest you experiment with them. Not gonna lie, it is quite fun, but it does get boring quite fast. Let's now continue to the Eternal Amp Arcanes. The Eternal Amp Arcanes can be bought from Cavalero on the Zariman for various amounts of standing. They can also be farmed up by killing the Thrax enemies on the Zariman, Ravenous Void Angels, and normal Void Angels, but their drop chances are quite low. 0.33% from Thrax enemies, 0.67% from Ravenous Void Angels, and 1.67% from normal Void Angels. The actual drop chance of the arcanes from Thrax enemies, for example, is 5%. The reason for that? Well, there is so many arcanes in the drop pool you cannot reliably farm the ones you want. It is still better than just buying them in my opinion though. But yeah, let's now look at the arcanes. Eternal Eradicate will increase the damage your amp deals by 60% for 8 seconds when you cast an ability with the operator. In order to use this arcane, you need to unlock at least one ability in any focus school, so be sure to keep that in mind if you haven't done it yet, because it is quite important. I see this arcane as quite useful since you can dish out lots of damage with relative ease. I use it on my favorite amp because it does impact the damage output quite a lot. Eternal Logistics is an arcane that will activate on Void Sling use. It will increase your ammo efficiency by 72%, so you will use lots less amp energy. The effect lasts for 8 seconds, which is great. I recommend using this arcane on weapons that use massive amounts of energy in a very short duration of time. You can really get a lot of damage out there. Eternal Onslaught is the last arcane on our list, and it is a bit more peculiar to use. Every time you use up all your operator energy, which means you Void Sling a few times and cast your abilities a lot, you will increase your critical chance of your amps by 180%. So your critical chance on the amp will be multiplied by 2.8. But yeah, that is it about the amps. You've seen a lot of arcanes and their effects, so now it's time to combine them. We will not go over that in this video since I frankly do not care, but I'll make another video once I test them out since I do not want to spew nonsense. If you have any builds, please share them and say why you like them, since players usually want to see the build so they can at least get inspired or something. I do get that. So with this, I will leave you. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, or maybe even subscribe. Be sure to share your favorite arcanes down in the comments, and I wish you a very nice day. Bye guys!